Okay, so moving on to Rogue. Rogue has interesting cards this year. It's more of a stealth kind of route that they're going here, which could be cool. We've never really seen that been done before in the past. I mean, we've seen some stealth cards in the past, but not really a whole archetype devoted to stealth. So we're going to start off with a Spy Mistress, a 1-mana 3/1, pretty insane. But the 1 health sucks unless it has stealth, and this card does have stealth. Card looks very strong for a 1-drop. I mean, of course, there's going to be some AoE that might that will kill this off, but if you can get this out on turn 1, I don't see how your opponent will be dealing with that. It may allow you to do some great things with some other Rogue cards that we'll be going over soon. I'm giving this card a 5 out of 5. With all the new stuff that we're seeing in Rogue, interacting with stealth, I think this card will be very good. Even if you don't unstealth it on turn 2, and you want to wait a little longer so you get combos off, I mean, this card should trade with a lot of higher mana costed minions, so I'm going to give this card a 5 out of 5. That's right. Speaking of cards that synergize with stealth minions, we see Ashe Tongue Slayer, 2-mana 3/2. Battlecry, give a stealth minion +3 attack and immune this turn. So, I mean, the +3 attack is good on its own, and then immune is pretty crazy. This should be very, very good overall. I mean, we see a lot of new stealth things coming to Rogue. This card's gotta be a 5 out of 5. The fact that it has immune, you could trade into a lot of bigger things, and of course it survives. But then you have to unstealth your minions. So I mean, if you use it on the 3/1, it is still going to have that 1 HP for future turns, but it's going to allow you to get a pretty nice opening start there, which should be quite the nuisance for any deck. 5 out of 5. Tempted to give it a 4 out of 5, but I'll roll with it. Sure. So next card we're gonna see here, Bamboozled, 2-mana, secret for Rogue. When one of your minions is attacked, transform it into a random one that costs 3 more. So, wow, is this card good? This card is going to bamboozle your opponents as well, or for sure. This card is going to bamboozle your opponents for sure. Even if they see it coming, it'll still bamboozle them. 3 is a lot more of a cost. I mean, especially in Rogue, we just saw a card like Ashe Tongue Slayer that is going to get its battle cry off, and then it's not going to be that useful. This card will allow that card to be used. Any card that you see that has a battle cry or a combo that you've already used the effect of, it's just going to transform it into a way better card, per usual. This card should just be a 5 out of 5. Moving on to another secret for Rogue, Dirty Tricks, 2-mana. Secret, if after your opponent casts a spell, draw 2 cards. So this card does seem very good. But you are using up a card for this card, so it does slow you down a bit. Instead of drawing those 2 cards, it kind of becomes like a draw 1 card because you are drawing this card, so it's a bit interesting. I think it's overall a solid card. I'm going to give it a 3.5. It's kind of close to a 4. It is good, but I don't know how good it is to slow down as a Rogue. Next card we see here is the Cursed Vagrant. 7-mana 7/5, Deathrattle, summon a 7/5 Shadow with Stealth. So this card's very interesting. This card has a lot of stats. You're basically getting 14-10 in stats, and the 7/5 that you get after this dies has Stealth, which is really good for interacting with your Stealth cards, the new Stealth buffed cards that we just saw before. For Rogue, hold on, is there anything else? Yeah. So the stealth shadow that you get is very good for interacting with the other cards that interact with stealth cards that Rogue has gotten for this expansion. So I think overall this card is a bit slow, but the stats that you get for it are very good, and I think it makes it worth it to run. I'm gonna give this card a 4 out of 5. It's very good. I would probably run one of them. 7 slot for Rogue isn't really occupied by anything besides Galakrond, so I actually like this card in Rogue. Moving right along, Greyheart Sage. 3-mana 3/3, Battlecry, if you control a stealth minion, draw 2 cards. So, I mean, you're going to have quite a few stealth minions in your deck. Not too many, but you should be running 2 of this card. Draw 2 for 3/3 with a 3/3 seems very good. At the very least, you have a 3 mana 3/3, which is okay, not that great. Drawing 2 cards early on in the game could definitely just swing the game in your favor early on, give you a lot of options to work with for the upcoming turns. I think this card is a 4.5 out of 5. It's not insane. The stats are not insanely good, but the overall card, drawing 2 cards for a 3 mana card with average stats should be quite good. I think that's it. I don't know. Moving on to the first legendary for Rogue, the Prime card, Akama. 3 mana 3/4, Stealth. Deathrattle, shuffle Akama Prime into your deck. We see Akama Prime on the right there. Permanently Stealth. That's a new thing. 6 mana 6/5. So the permanent stealth could be related to the rumble runs that you do in Hearthstone, where you can choose an option to make all your minions permanently stealth, which is pretty insane in that. But of course there are ways to deal with the permanently stealth minion, like Deadly Shot, some AoE things like Twisting Nether, maybe Godfrey, the new Shadow Word Ruin card that Priest has gotten for this expansion. Also, just big taunts will be able to stop this guy from getting through, but we do have a lot of cards that interact with stealth minions. So, not a lot of cards, but we do have some cards that interact with stealth minions, like the 2 mana card that we saw before, giving it +3 attack and immune for the turn. So, if you build your deck correctly, it should be able to be a force to be reckoned with. Zephyrs will be very good at stopping this card, sure. But overall, I think this card is very solid. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. It's one of the better primes. Permanent Stealth should be quite the nuisance. You can maybe do some crazy things with it. Maybe Faceless Corruptor or shuffling copies of it into your deck could be kind of crazy. Yeah, pretty great card there. Moving right along to another legendary, Shadow Jeweler Hanar. 2 mana 1/5, which is insane stats. After you play a secret, discover a secret from another class. So this card is very good, but you have to run a decent amount of secrets to make it work. And we did see some pretty good secrets in Rogue already, and we're going to see another one very soon as well. I think this card is a 5 out of 5 just right off the bat. Discovering a secret from another class seems pretty crazy. I mean, you're never going to know what class, but, I mean, if you get a Paladin secret, it could keep this guy alive. It could be like a redemption. It could protect it with a Noble Sacrifice. It could get a Splitting Image with Mage, make it so you discover 2 secrets. There's a lot of possibilities that you could do. There's endless possibilities with this card, and the fact that your opponent will have no idea what the secret that you discovered is makes it even better than that. So I think this card is just overall an insane card. You should be playing this. Yeah, just play it. Alright, it's really good. Okay, next card we see here, Blackjack Stunner. 1 mana 1/2, Battle Cry. If you control a secret, return a minion to its owner's hand. It costs 2 more. So I mean, this is just like a walking freezing trap. Of course you have to have the secret up, but yeah, this card is 1 mana to return a minion to its owner's hand and have it cost 2 more, which is very good. This might be one of the best cards of the expansion. 5 out of 5 easily. I mean, Freezing Trap is so good, and the ability to choose what you want to Freezing Trap, and it costs 1 less mana than Freezing Trap. This card is insane. This card's bonkers. This card actually just justifies you running secrets in general on its own. So yeah. Moving along to the last card that Rogue gets here, Ambush, another secret, 2 mana. After your opponent plays a minion, summon a 2/3 Ambusher with Poisonous. So the Ambusher is just a 2/3. It's just a regular 2 mana 2/3 with Poisonous. Still very good, depending on when you play it. It should be quite difficult for them to remove unless they already have stuff on the board, or if they're playing a rush minion. But I think it's overall a solid card. I don't think you're running 2 of them. I think you would probably just run 1. But I mean, if your opponent plays a big guy, You get the ambusher with poisonous, you just clean up the big guy. So they will have to play around it at some degree. But yeah, I think this card is very strong. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. It's not too strong. It's not too... Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. That's it. Next.